All right, Shahin, how you doing today?
Hi, doing great. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks. I've seen some of Nebulous Dark, and I saw a few clips and the trailer, and I'm pretty excited because there's a lot of things going on in this movie. When you talk about sci-fi, there's a lot of aspects to sci-fi, but it seems like a lot of those aspects are kind of combined in this film. So I'm
Yeah.
curious of how you initially got the idea. What was it that sparked this, and what did you start with? Was it aliens, robots, zombies, or did they all? Was your idea to do all of them at once?
Thank you. Great questions. Basically, this project, I had finished another film, and I was kind of sitting around and being getting creative thoughts, and I just decided, you know what? Let me write something far out and have some fun. That's all it's about. So we went on a hill one day, did a couple of tests, as we normally like to do, and we're like, hey, this character looks interesting, like this character with this outfit and this telescope and or periscope and stuff. It looks cool. So based around that, I just that's how I work. I get inspired by a particular event or a particular vision or an idea or something, and then from there I wrote the script. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna unload on the creativity. We didn't have a budget to go super crazy, but with the budget that we did have, I think I took it as far as it can possibly go. Like you can't go any further than that.
Yeah, it's
So
all over
yeah,
the place. It's all over the place. I
it's
love
all over the place, and it was meant to be like that. It's very experimental in every aspect of this project. I also wanted to mentor and foster my kid who is into photography, and she asked if she could learn, and I said, yeah, you know what, let's do a small father and daughter movie, and that's what this movie is all. It's just an experiment, and it's been a fun and crazy ride, but we got it done, and I love it actually. I'm having a good time. We're watching it, and we're like, this music and all this is really fun to watch for us. I don't know if it is for the fans, but
that.
all this UFOs and stuff, it just took a long time to do.
The
It was
music
fun
is
though.
what I was going to mention. That's one of the first thing I was going to mention. Are you used to, picking out music or like compositions for a film, or is this the first time you've really gotten into that part of it?
Well, the music is actually it's music that we picked up for the film from another artist, and we licensed it. So basically, uh, uh, I love music. This thing was actually the temp track to this was John Carpenter music. I wanted kind of like a boom 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 boom, like just like super, like Clint Eastwood walks down the street kind of music, and we got that. I thought we did that. Yes, music is part of this. And in fact, I wrote the whole script listening to horror soundtracks on Spotify. I'm sure Spotify is like, what is this guy doing? He's been listening to the same horror soundtrack for like a year. He must be crazy. So it's funny because as a filmmaker, you have to go through these like weird like times when you're writing something, you're working on something, you're brainstorming, and you're like doing something over and over again. And these days with the internet and all this stuff, it's like, why is this guy listening to the same horror movie? And like these are really horror, like because I wanted to. I think some of the other directors actually do that. They listen to the music and then you get inspired. But so I was just trying to get inspired because I'm usually a fantasy film writer and actor and director, and I wanted to get into that mood. I don't want to let my fantasy movie stuff get into there. So I listened to so much horror soundtrack that it bled into the film, and that's why the film's so dark. It's only because I was listening to like Halloween over and over again on Spotify and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where the music inspiration comes from.
And there's a lot of horror elements too. I know it's a sci-fi film. There's a lot of horror elements, and I feel like from what I read a quote you had said about you pulling a lot of inspiration from the Twilight Zone,
Yes.
and Rod Serling. So I wanted to know, is that what kind of kicked off the horror bits to this, or was that something that you ended up meshing with the sci-fi?
Well, originally I wrote this. I had just, well, I've been basically a fan, just like yourself, of Rod Serling and the Twilight Zone since I was in the seventh grade, and so I had actually purchased all his scripts on a volume. I think it's the Twilight Zone volume 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have all of them, and just to read it for myself, and not to just wanted to see what kind of writing and his style, and see how mine goes against it. And I just was so inspired by the great. There's no like, it's just straight like, this is a story of this guy's having a tough time, and this is at the end of it, you find out like, he's actually his own mom or something. So it just those kind of things that are intriguing and makes it more, and we still watch it. Like, how is it possible you have a show from the 50s, black and white, 20 minutes, and the 25 minutes each, and you're still interested in watching them. The acting, everything is so unique. So the horror element, I wanted to, you have a post-apocalyptic with a twist, right? So I didn't want to sugarcoat it. Like, I noticed a lot of people are using the same formulas. I didn't want to go like, you know what, I'm gonna make this a little bit like, put a couple of goofy shots in here to just to lighten it up a little bit. It's post-apocalypse. It's the end of the world. So if the character is in a post-apocalypse, you're not going to be joking around too much, are you? If there's dead people chasing you, you're going to be like completely freaked out. So I wanted to bring that element. So people are like, this is a little dark. This is like almost NC-7. I'm like, well, if that's how you see it, that's how you see it. But if this was happening, it would be extremely difficult on that particular character. So yes, I wrote it based on realism, and I wanted to add a twist and the dialogue and everything. So the music, I'm very happy with this film, I have to say.
I had read that in your bio that you realized that you wanted to get into film when you were watching like Star Wars: A New Hope in theaters. So I was
Oops, sorry
curious.
about.
Oh no, it's okay. So I was curious if when you got that inspiration, decided you want to go into entertainment, was your idea to be an actor, or did you know that you wanted to, have your hand behind the scenes as well, the way you do now?
Great question. Thanks for asking that. To be totally honest, I am the kind of person that has a vision and would like to. I think a lot of directors are probably like that. Would like to fulfill it, and you try to use whatever resources at your disposal. Acting and performing is something that's always been in my blood. My mom is a really well-known Persian singer, and my dad, rest in peace, he was a classical musician. Played like all the extremely difficult instruments at a very high level, concerts, stuff like that. And my American father was he actually introduced me to sci-fi and film. He was a professor at USFL in Florida, and he used to take me to film class, film workshops on Saturdays when we used to go he had work to do in his office, and he would let me in the film department, and we'd I got inspired with all that stuff. And he was also a very good artist. So performing is second nature. I was also a professional, I don't know how to put it, but I was basically a break dancer. So I performed in front of many, many thousands of people as a child on small shows. And I also was a VJ. So being in front of a camera is second nature. It was just kind of like learning the ropes of how to produce and direct and make it happen. So I decided, and you know what? A lot of if you look back in time, I don't think a lot of people realize, but if you study film history, a lot of great actors actually produce and direct. Lots of them. I don't want to go through a list, but anyone can look it up. But a lot of great guys, they are inspired. It's all about inspiration. It's not about anything else, but that you're inspired. You want to see it happen. You see some shots at first, and you get really excited. You see like a test and you get super pumped, and it's like a basketball game. You want to get in there and finish it and get it done. So you do whatever it takes. You have that energy. You have that captain mentality, if you will. And that's how I got into it. So did a test. Of course, I'm not like, hey, you guys, I have an idea. We're going to do a movie where I'm the star. And, it's not like that. It's like we do a test. And I say, hey, you guys, let's all look at this. Would you say this works? Like, would you say this works? Does this character work for you? If it's looking like it's not, I don't want to, I don't want to do it. But if it's working, and if it's looking legit, let's do it. It's because we have the tools to do it. We have the resources. So that's how I work, and that's how I got into it. I think a lot of people are probably like waiting around, auditioning and stuff like that, and that's fine. That's their trajectory, as they say. But mine is this. This is the way I like to do it. Of course, it's not to say that I won't take part in something that would be like someone else's project as just an actor or just a director or even just a writer, and give my input. A lot of actors do that. Like a lot of big actors, if you look it up, they write the script. I don't want to name names, but they write the script. It's the idea. It works. If it works, it works. That's all there's to it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
obviously art's
I hope
very
that answered
collaborative.
it.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. It led to another question too. Art's super collaborative, so I love your approach there. Especially like you say, you
Yes.
show it to people
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
get everybody's ideas, kind of put them all in a pot, and you're making something, which now you're doing with your daughter, and you've done that with Nebulous Dark. Is that something where on the other side of that experience, now that you're done with it, are you looking to maybe do more projects alongside her in the future?
Yes, absolutely. Because they say if you do something for more than 10,000 hours, you are an expert of some sort. And I put in the time and the resources. I've shared a lot of knowledge with people. I've given opportunities to people who would not have had opportunities. I've done those things, and not because I don't work on merit. Like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do this, so later I can say I did. It's not like that for me. It's like I just want to make what I want to make, and I want it to be a success, so we can make more. So yes, the answer is yes, absolutely, 100%. Anybody who drops out of something they've done for more than 10,000 hours, they're burned out. They should take a break. So I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna have some fun, and then I have 5 other projects equal or way higher than this project. This was honestly was just a fun little experiment, and I will tell you this: I have noticed some freaking out going on about it, and it's just funny to see because this was an experiment. It's like the guy who turns left when everyone else is turning right, and everyone's like, "Hey, don't turn left! Don't turn left!" It's like, I'm just going this way. I'll see you guys on the other side. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. But it's just funny. But it's interesting, though. It's really interesting. And I'm a neutral observer of humans, as a writer, you have to be. And seeing the reactions, it's like, oh my God, you made a left when you should. It's like, I'm not sure what that means. Okay, thanks. It's kind of like that for me, That's my mentality.
So when did you?
Anyways,
There's a
so
lot of stuff.
yes,
Oh, sorry, I didn't
I have a
realize.
lot of stuff. Well, I have a lot of stuff that's already been written and already storyboarded. I work very fast, storyboarded and already shot listed, and with concepts all ready to go. So I have 5 big movies that I've written. I think every one of them would be blockbusters, including Sinbad: The Sixth Voyage, which I'm writing right now. But I have another sci-fi. I have a horror and another a really cool horror movie, and a couple of supernatural scripts that I've already written, and we'll be working on those.
That's awesome. So you said this is a 6th Sinbad movie you're working on now? Because I know you had done the 5th voyage.
Yes, yes, yes,
Sorry, there was a
yes,
little delay there.
absolutely. Yes, it's
You
already.
froze,
I've
you
already
froze
written
for a
it.
sec.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes, I have, and I'll be working on that very aggressively and hoping to actually bring on some partners on that. So right now I'm in the creative part of that. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, that's awesome. With, we talked about your past and your present and the, stuff you're working on. Where would you like to be 10 years from now? Would you prefer to be behind the camera, or do you hope you still have a mix like you do now?
Well, 10 years from now, they would probably have already cured like like everything. So just kidding. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But honestly, I let my energy and the universe kind of take me the flow. I do have, but being creative is something that's gifted to me by God, and the way I feel about it. It's my opinion, and I feel like I'm here to inspire people, and I've inspired a lot of people. I've had everyone from all ages contact me and say, I'm really inspired that you did this or did that. And, you know, I've had so much stuff like that. And I'm not sure how many of them that are not contacting me, but I'm sure there's a lot. So I've been told that my films have been downloaded either one way or another around the world millions and millions of times, which the first time I heard it almost gave me a heart attack. I was like, what? Can you guys send us 5 cents at least for each download? Anything, you know, for those guys that are not paying, like pirate, send us 5 cents each or something. I was just kidding on that, but it's been seen, and you know, I'd like to capitalize on it. Obviously, I'm also a businessman. I'm not stupid. My goal is to work with a large studio, the largest possible. I have a lot of creativity to give, and I have a lot of skill. And my goal is to work with the best, and on a team or heading a project, either way. So I deliver the goods by the stage. So by that time, I'm hoping to, I don't know where we'll be, but hopefully it'll be a creative zone and very comfortable.
Yeah, 2031 is probably going to be crazy, so it's good to just kind of go with the flow and follow the energy there. One of my last questions is, are you bilingual? Because I know you have a very diverse family, very diverse past, and I was wondering if that
Yes.
affects your, you know, your screenwriting or anything at all, or your distribution as far as like where things are going.
Yeah. I actually speak several languages. Obviously Farsi, because I'm Persian American, and my mother, when we reunited, this is a little inside scoop just for you. When we first reunited in the I think it was late early '80s, and I had forgotten how to speak Farsi because I was here with an American family, right?
Right.
So we reunited. And I'm like, I can understand, but I'm unable to pronounce the word. I'm unable to pronounce the vocabulary. There, it's gone. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't talk to my mom right now. It was so funny. And she was like, oh my God, my son can't speak to me. I can't speak to. It's so weird for that to happen to a child and a parent. So it was funny. It was kind of awkward, but it was kind of funny. So I had to relearn language all over again from scratch here. As a young child, so I learned Farsi. I also know a bit of Spanish. Wonderful, beautiful, romantic language. So yes, I speak Spanish, Farsi, and obviously English is my first language.
Well,
What
that's
about you?
awesome. Well, I speak, okay, so I was going to say it's kind of similarly. I'm really not bilingual. I speak English, but I took Arabic school up until, you know, I was 10. So I learned Arabic, but it was like then, you know, once I kind of got out of that world, I'd forgotten a lot of it. And
Yeah.
I have sisters, like siblings that I keep in contact with in Jordan now. So it's like I'm trying to bridge that gap. They speak more English than I do Arabic. So it's like, the same thing with like siblings and we're family members, but there's a huge kind of, we have to use translation software sometimes because it's like you and your mom, you know, we can't necessarily understand each other right now, but I'm trying to move into the bilingual state.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And it's basically, you know, essentially it's we're we're all living in Western culture, and you assimilate and you adapt. And me as a child, being in an environment where I was the only kid with dark eyes and eyebrows, I think as a 6, 7 year old, I assimilated, assimilated into the community, and it was a wonderful experience. probably gonna write a script around that because it's pretty deep in that at that level, because I'm in Los Angeles now, but in South Florida in the late 70s was just complete different environment. It was a being put into a fully untouched environment, and being around everyday people that are living in that from a kid from another country. So at that time it was very difficult. At first it was very difficult, but I assimilated because that's just the way I'm built. I assimilated, and my mind completely wiped out any kind of like oh, I want to go, I miss. It was like not like that. It was more like, hey dad, let's build an airplane in the backyard and build a car too. And we did. He built a whole car from scratch. Incredible, man. I'd say he was like a John Wayne, but like a professor. And he built a whole car from scratch. And I'm talking about like a 1920s Bugatti, which is a $1 million car, a classic. And he built that from scratch, like piece by piece.
That's crazy.
Piece by piece. And then he also built an airplane, like a small, like, nothing he can flip, but just, he built it out of like scrap wood. He's like, we just would do stuff like that. So that's how I assimilated. And I became very connected. And that's where I got my connection to Star Wars. It took me to see Star Wars because my mom and sister were having a Tupperware thing and they kicked us out of the house. So he's like, come with me. I'm like, where are we going? He's like, get in the car. So we go to the mall, bright, beautiful mall, not just something new to me. And we go inside. I'm like, what are we buying? Shopping or something? We go in and we go through these two doors, and inside of it was a huge theater. So I didn't realize that they had theaters inside malls at that time as a kid. So we sit down, and then we had the Star Wars Rebel ship flying right over, and I was like, and then Darth Vader walks in, and then Princess Leia, and everybody, and I just was like, this is like, immediately was like, this is where I want to do. So that's how the story is. And I definitely will write a script around this or a story, or possibly a book, because I feel like other people can learn from my experience.
Yeah, 100%.
Positively.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
on an axis of like, you have American parents, but you also have, your parents from back home. So you have a really, really interesting perspective, kind of a unique perspective. And I think that there are other people.
I'm connected to my roots. I'm not the kind of
I was gonna say there are other people you can definitely inspire.
Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say there's other people I feel like you can definitely inspire that also have, a little bit of roots in two areas that hopefully kind of bring those together and show in their art.
Yes. And for me, honestly, it's all about three things. It's all about creativity, it's all about giving, and it's all about inspiring. That's what I'm built and designed for. Now, am I a pushover? I'm absolutely not a pushover. Anybody on the set will tell you, this dude is not a pushover. Do not push this guy. This is not a good idea. I think any director, I'm telling you, life as a director is not easy. That's why most directors do not have social media. They don't want to be messed with. So as an actor though, and as someone who also loves marketing and loves to let people see your art, the first time I had something that inspired me was when I did a painting. As a child, I did there was a contest, and it was a science fiction contest, and I painted they wanted to draw like schools. So I drew this really cool thing, and it won the award, and they made it into a mural and put it in front of the school, and the whole school was voting and stuff. And when I got that like vibe from when everyone raised their hands, I love this feeling of getting feedback from people. They've seen my work. So I'm all about that stuff. So yes, that's me in a nutshell.
Well, is there anything else before I wrap that you want to plug? I know you've already mentioned a lot of your projects. Any social media or websites you'd like to direct the listeners to, who are looking to find you
Sure.
and more of your stuff?
Well, at Shahin Solimon, ShahinSolimon. I'm not hard to find. Shahin Shan Solimon. It's there. It's all, everything is there for everyone. And my Instagram and my Facebook is the best places to go because I regularly go on those. I share a lot of stuff, whether it's just a storyboard or a drawing or a painting or a shot from a film or something from the past or whatever. I share a lot of great stuff. And uh, Nebulous Dark, we self-distributed this. Although we got offers from distribution outlets, I wanted to experiment with this further and we self-distributed this, and it's on Amazon Prime Video, who are great. Really love that the Amazon Prime. And I would really enjoy it to see what people think of it, and please go rate it. I will say I would like to get some accurate ratings on this film because of the experimental aspect of it. We have a little bit, I mean, I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to hide negative reactions under the rug because it's part of this world. You know, you have good reactions, you have good and you have bad. You have a balance in life, and everybody knows that. There's a balance, there's a scale. So I'm gonna have to give a little bit of that, which is the negativity based on me experimenting with this project has been a little bit on the, shall we say, it should probably get balanced out with people going in there and giving it the correct ratings and watching it and buying it. And because that just goes into us making more films. And we're also giving away a portion of that to COVID families in the US that have been affected. So we are actually giving away a portion of that. And I would really like it if they would go and check it out on Prime Video VOD, Nebulous Dark, and rate it. Please rate it.
Okay.